I take my holiday from work every year at Halloween, not Thanksgiving, and drive to a rural town outside of Champaign-Urbana to visit my parents, and walk from the front yard down Main Street to the park and around its darkened perimeter, trying to imagine what you saw, listening to the music you listened to, looking down empty side streets, through the empty pavilions, and across the empty baseball diamonds, turning off the path at the junior high school just before getting to the woods. My eyes stay focused on the sidewalk under me while on the back half of the loop. The music haunts my ears here, and I can feel you walking behind me, just several paces beyond the range of your cold breath. Only back at Main Street, with the noise of late-night traffic to protect me, will I turn to face the road behind me, and the many streetlights that illuminate nothing but a feeling hiding at the tip of my neck and lingering inside of the question that keeps drawing me back here year after year. Why did you walk into the woods that night? You showed me Evangelion that night, pointing at the screen at every scene and murmuring, "Look, look, this is the important part." Back then I couldn't for the life of me understand what was so important about that anime to you. But as the years have gone by, I've gone to college, got my film degree, and spent so much time analyzing every moment of that first episode. The urge to walk that path towards the woods grows more and more each year and has dulled into something I now think of as normal. The moment that things begin to click is when I learn about mise en scene, a film concept, which in plain terms is the screen and everything within it, where and how the actors are standing, what they are wearing, what the set looks like, the props, the blocking, the literal everything. And this is true of television and film, but more importantly animation, where each of those things must be obsessed over and picked specifically for the individual frames. Unlike the real world, in art everything is with purpose, and that inherently gives it meaning. That isn't enough though, because with that alone, I'm left picking apart the most mundane things, looking for any bit of information, compiling it all, combing over it again and again. I have no frame of reference, no lens to pass all that information through. If only I could remember the exact moments that you pointed to and said were important. If only I had paid more attention, I could have stepped between you and that late night walk. I could have avoided the images of coyotes in my head. The next piece of the puzzle is an essay I read from Stephen Donaldson called Epic Fantasy in the Modern World. He describes the difference between fiction and fantasy. He says, fantasy is a form of fiction in which the internal crises or conflicts or processes of the characters are dramatized as if they were external individuals or events. Crudely stated, this means that in fantasy the characters meet themselves or parts of themselves, their own needs, problems, wants, as actors on the stage of the story. And so the internal struggle to deal with those needs is played out as an external struggle in the action of the story. Nothing is real, it's all in your head. Which is not to be confused with the "it's all a dream, none of it happened" endings that you see in shows sometimes, but more so that the things on the screen are not literal representations of what's happening, but metaphorical representations of the self. The synopsis of the first episode is that Shinji's father calls him after several years of no contact and invites him to a secret underground base known as Nerve, because there's an existential threat to humanity, and only Shinji can save them by piloting the Evangelion. But if you dig deeper, you see for the very first scenes that Shinji Ikari is in a world under attack. Ruins, flooding, battalions of tanks lined up for an approaching enemy. We are dealing with a damaged city filled with worry and fear that it will happen again. Tokyo 3 is a stand-in for Shinji's surface-level thoughts, riddled with separation anxiety from his father abandoning him, and blunt defense mechanisms that don't cause anything but self-destruction. All the missiles thrown at the approaching angel do nothing but leave craters in an already evacuated city. Cars sit abandoned on roadsides, trains aren't moving, phones can't call out. It's anxiety made manifest. His father's sudden contact has sent him spiraling towards a panic attack, which to him is like a Godzilla-level monster, the Angel. The way it walks so calm and collected into the city, ignoring attacks, only retaliating when necessary, it really shows that this monster is only a monster because it's perceived as one. We're traveling through Shinji's psychological defenses that were created to keep things like anxiety, depression, and his self-destructive loneliness on the surface. Because if you go beneath the surface of the conscious mind, beneath Tokyo 3, what do you find? The subconscious, the basement, the place where all the thoughts you'd rather not have, all the things repressed, all the insecurities are stuffed away behind lock and key. While Shinji consciously walks around the destroyed world, beneath the surface his subconscious mind is toiling away to find things to protect itself with. And this is where the crux of the show lies, the main conflict. Shinji needs those defenses. He needs to travel into his own subconscious to learn himself, so that he can grow. But doing so is causing him immense anxiety because, of course, he's locked away the pain of his father down there, the loss of his mother, all the horrible things that he's witnessed. And the show presents that internal struggle so cleanly by having it be his father who invites him. The subconscious is knocking. It's asking Shinji to come inside and see what's there. And it's ultimately Shinji who struggles with helping himself. The first episode is a statement to Shinji that he can't just sit back and continue to react negatively to the pressures of the world, because they are tearing at his defenses, and who knows what they'll do if they find their way inside. It's like therapy. Evangelion is Shinji's therapy. I walk to the junior high again and stand there on the corner, looking down the street into the darkness of the woods, just out of view. I swear that something is watching me. Something in there, in the darkness, inviting me in. I'm afraid it's you. I know it's you. And you're inside of Nerve, sending a message out to me. It's impossible to ignore. I have to go to the woods. I have to find you. I have to go. In the woods, I find a tunnel into your brain. I park the car and walk the twisting paths like endless corridors, labyrinthine, and I see you, still a child, waiting for me. I am Misato Katsuragi now, not a child, old enough to know better, struggling but confident, and I am here to save you. I take your hand and I walk further down the path. I no longer wish to turn around. I only wish to show you what you were looking for all those years ago, before they got to you. If we can find the entrance to Nerve, then you can learn and grow with me, and today we will be together instead of apart. The canopy thickens and darkens the woods. At times it's hard to see, but the paths are second nature to these feet, and I'm pulling you over the tripping roots and impassable vines. You're trembling because you were called here and have no understanding as to why. What lies deeper in the woods frightens you, but it's okay. I'm here. I am Misato Katsuragi, and I am here to save you. The forest is isolating, lonely, melancholic, taking on a life I have never seen. What was before a place of serenity is now a desolate land, made empty by choice, inescapable, a place for you to go where you won't be found. My age has given me new eyes to see with, and they are tinted with regret and a chilly distance. It's then I realize that I'm shaking, afraid, and you are just you, a child with no sense of what is to come. Excited even at the prospect of going deeper and showing me what is there in the shadows. It was not you who was called here all those years ago. It is you who is calling me. Because it's true, I've been away for so long and nearly forgot where to go. We're at a place where the paths aren't clear and they narrow to slits of dirt amongst the autumn foliage. am lost in your head, and I suddenly feel so small. You are Ritsuko Akagi now, a scientist who works inside of Nerve, analytical and in need of answers, searching for meaning in all of the details. I'm so familiar with you, and it's easy to see your authority. Unlike me, you are not lost. You are always here, even venturing to places you don't belong. You know what they say about the cat, but if you're to die, you say, let it be. Just like Mr. Ikari. Just like Dad. But even typing the name is a chore, a challenge that makes me stop. That is where we're going after all, to see Father. He's in there somewhere, even though he's never been out there all that often. Only when necessary, I suppose. Nerve is like time melding together into one centralized hub. We're going down, down, deeper. You take a turn because you were taught to, and your hands stay deep in your pockets no matter how much I want to hold them. I want to go back to the car, but behind me are trees that I don't recognize, and a path that is eating itself to keep me away. We're watching Evangelion, and I feel something that my young mind doesn't have a word for yet. A sadness that is impossible to fathom, so deep that I cannot find the bottom, lacking a reason and filling me with water like a human balloon before it bursts through my eyes. We are watching Evangelion, and it's like a tunnel into your brain. Ritsuko stops at a hill, and I am Misato again, gun pointed and ready. I want in to whatever lies beyond, to the secrets on the other side. Nerve is a vault stuffed full of 1,000 cuts, and you, Ritsuko, are warning me. But it's too late. I'm listening to the music you used to listen to. I'm looking down the roads you used to look down. I'm entering the woods you used to walk. And I'm crossing the hill you were left on. And on the other side, all the different me's are staring back.
Now I am falling. I want you to catch me. Look up and you'll see me. You know you can hear me. The world is so loud. Keep falling.